In the heart of a small, bustling town nestled between rolling hills, the old trestle bridge stood as a reminder of days gone by. It was an impressive structure, built from sturdy steel beams and wooden planks. For many years, it had carried trains over the river below, connecting the town to distant places. However, the bridge also held secrets and dangers that lingered in its shadows. Locals often warned one another about how its age made it unstable. They shared stories of brave souls who had crossed it and of those who had met mishaps along the way. Families would gather for picnics by the riverside, always casting wary glances at the trestle above. Children would dare each other to step onto its creaky surface, their hearts pounding with excitement and fear. As evening fell, the sun painted the sky with hues of orange and pink, creating an enchanting scene. Yet, beneath this beauty lay an ever-present threat. The trestle could be more perilous than it seemed, especially with rumors swirling about bandits lurking nearby. Little did anyone know, that day would test both courage and community like never before. Among the townsfolk, one name stood out when it came to bravery and quick thinking: Jake, the rail scout. With his trusty cap perched on his head and a keen eye for detail, he often patrolled the tracks, ensuring safety in the bustling town. Jake was not just any scout. He had a knack for spotting trouble before it even began. Whether it was a loose rail or a fallen tree, he was always ready to act. Known for his lightning-fast reflexes and calm demeanor in emergencies, Jake earned the respect of everyone around him. He had saved countless train passengers from danger and helped neighbors in need, especially those who felt threatened by the wild rumors circulating about bandits in the area. Jake's heart was as big as his courage, and his friends often joked that he could be a hero in stories told around campfires. On this particular day, however, Jake had no idea that he would soon face the most daunting challenge of his life. As he prepared for his routine patrol, whispers of danger echoed in the air, hinting that something was about to unfold at the trestle bridge that would test his limits like never before. In the same town, Mrs. Thompson was a figure of resilience and sorrow. Since her husband passed away a year ago, life had become a series of hardships for her. With days filled with silence in their once lively home, she often found herself reminiscing about the joyful moments they shared, especially those sunny afternoons spent by the river. However, she couldn't dwell too long on grief. Driving forward was her only choice. On this particular day, Mrs. Thompson decided to visit the old trestle bridge to gather some belongings she had left behind. An old photo album and a few treasured keepsakes that held memories of better times. Clad in a simple dress and her worn-out boots, she set off with purpose, determined to reclaim what felt like pieces of her past. As she approached the bridge, the echoes of trains and whispers of winds reminded her of all that had changed. The fearlessness once shared with her husband quickly turned to anxiety as she realized how precarious the bridge appeared. Yet, with resolve in her heart, she stepped onto the creaky boards, unaware that danger lurked not far behind her. As Mrs. Thompson stepped cautiously onto the trestle bridge, the memories of her husband filled her heart with both warmth and sorrow. Each creak of the wooden planks reminded her of their shared laughter and dreams. But those thoughts quickly faded as she noticed the instability beneath her feet. The bridge swayed slightly with each step, making her pulse quicken. Suddenly, a loud rumble echoed through the air, jolting her from her reverie. A train was approaching, its whistle piercing the quietness and sending vibrations through the structure. Panic surged within her as she realized there was no safe place to go. The gap between the trestle and the ground below felt like a chasm, and she found herself frozen in place, staring down at the rushing waters beneath. As the train thundered by, Mrs. Thompson clung to the railing, feeling the wind whip around her like a storm. She was trapped on this old bridge, caught between the memories of love and the harsh reality of danger. Little did she know that her predicament would soon intertwine with a much larger threat lurking beneath. The robbers lighting dynamite fuses just below where she stood. Beneath the trestle, hidden in the shadows, a group of robbers carefully plotted their scheme. They were armed with sticks of dynamite and a plan to intercept a train loaded with valuable cargo. Quiet whispers filled the air as they set about their work, lighting fuses that would soon explode, causing chaos above. The leader of the gang, a tall man with a menacing glare, instructed his crew to keep watch while they prepared for the train's arrival. "Once we blow the supports, that train won't know what hit it," he said, his voice low and sinister. The thrill of the heist electrified them, but they were unaware of Mrs. Thompson's plight directly above them. As they lit the fuses, tension hung thick in the air. The robbers believed their plan was foolproof. By destroying the trestle, they aimed to distract any nearby authorities while snatching the precious cargo from freight cars swinging precariously on the tracks. What they did not realize was that their dangerous actions would soon intertwine with Mrs. Thompson's desperate situation on the bridge above. A convergence of peril that could change everything for both her and their sinister plot. As Jake continued his patrol, the crackle of his radio broke through the silence, pulling him sharply back to reality. He grabbed the device, listening intently as the voice on the other end relayed urgent news. "Jake, there's a dangerous situation at the old trestle. A woman is stranded up there, and we think some robbers are planning something big." The urgency in the voice sent a chill down Jake's spine. He felt his heart race as he grasped the gravity of what was unfolding. Mrs. Thompson. He knew her well. She was a kind soul who had endured so much since her husband's passing. The thought of her trapped above, with danger lurking beneath, made him spring into action. "Copy that. I'm on my way," Jake responded, determination flooding through him as he sprinted toward his trusty railcar. His mind raced with strategies. How could he get to her in time? As he drove closer to the trestle, every second felt like an eternity, and the weight of responsibility rested heavily on his shoulders. The realization that this was not just a rescue mission but also a battle against time heightened his resolve. He had to save Mrs. Thompson before it was too late. Jake's heart raced as he reached the rail yard, quickly scanning the area for help. He spotted two fellow scouts, Sam and Lucy, who were just finishing their own patrol. Without hesitation, he called out to them, urgency clear in his voice. "We need to move fast. Mrs. Thompson is stranded on the trestle. Robbers are about to blow it up." Sam's eyes widened, and Lucy's expression shifted from surprise to determination. "Let's go," Lucy exclaimed, already grabbing her gear. The three of them hopped into Jake's railcar, adrenaline fueling their every move. As they sped toward the trestle, Jake quickly explained the situation, detailing how they needed to reach Mrs. Thompson before the robbers executed their plan. Each scout was focused and fearless, knowing that time was crucial. As they approached the bridge, Jake could see the plume of smoke rising from beneath it, proof that the robbers were indeed set to ignite the dynamite. The weight of responsibility pressed on them, but united in purpose, they prepared a rescue plan. With every second ticking away, their determination solidified. Nothing would stop them from saving Mrs. Thompson and thwarting the robbers' scheme. As Jake, Sam, and Lucy raced toward the trestle, the weather took a sudden turn. Dark clouds rolled in overhead, unleashing a downpour that blurred their vision and soaked their clothes. "Stick together," Jake shouted above the noise of the rain, knowing they needed to navigate both the obstacles of nature and the trestle itself. The trio pressed on, splashing through puddles and avoiding slick patches of mud that could slow them down. Branches whipped at their faces as they zigzagged around fallen trees and debris littering the path. Each scout played to their strengths. Jake led the way with his keen sense of direction. Sam cleared out the obstructions in their path, while Lucy kept a lookout for any signs of danger or trouble ahead. As they approached the base of the trestle, billows of smoke rose into the sky, a reminder of the urgency pressing upon them. With teamwork anchoring their resolve, they devised a quick plan. Lucy would warn Mrs. Thompson from above if she could reach her, while Jake and Sam focused on stopping the robbers below. Working as one cohesive unit, they forged ahead, each step fueled by determination to save Mrs. Thompson and bring justice to those who threatened her safety. As they approached the base of the trestle, the trio crouched behind a thicket of bushes, peering out towards the ominous figures below. Heartbeats raced as they caught sight of the robbers huddled together, flickering matches illuminating their determined faces. Tension gripped Jake's stomach as he saw the glint of dynamite in their hands. They were lighting fuses that could bring destruction in an instant. "Look," Sam whispered, pointing to the growing flames. The sight triggered a surge of urgency within Jake. They had no time to lose. He glanced at Lucy, who nodded in agreement, her eyes wide with fear and resolve. We need to stop them now before it's too late. Jake's mind raced with plans. Each second brought them closer to catastrophe. Feeling the weight of responsibility, he realized how fragile their mission was. If they didn't act quickly, Mrs. Thompson would be at grave risk, stranded above while chaos threatened to erupt around her. With adrenaline coursing through his veins, Jake beckoned his friends closer. We have to create a distraction, he urged softly but firmly, or we won't have a chance of stopping them. The stakes were higher than ever, and every moment counted as they prepared to confront the looming threat below. With a deep breath, Jake sprang into action, determined to reach Mrs. Thompson on the trestle above. He carefully climbed up the embankment, trying to remain as quiet as possible while keeping an eye on the robbers below. Each step felt like a tightrope walk. He had to balance speed with caution, knowing that any noise could alert the criminals. As he reached the top, Jake spotted Mrs. Thompson standing frozen near the center of the trestle, her eyes wide with fear. Mrs. Thompson, he called softly, waving his hand to catch her attention without alarming the robbers. She turned, relief flooding her features as she saw him. Jake, I didn't know if anyone would come, she exclaimed, her voice trembling. Stay calm. I'm here to help you, he reassured her, moving closer but still mindful of the shadows below. We need to get you off this bridge quickly. He assessed the situation, noting the flickering flames from the dynamite fuses beneath them. Gently urging her to follow his lead, he guided her along the edge of the trestle, careful not to attract any unwanted attention from the robbers focused on their sinister task below. With each cautious step, Jake felt a surge of determination. He would not let anything happen to Mrs. Thompson while he was there. As Jake and Mrs. Thompson inched along the trestle, the tension was palpable. The flickering flames from the dynamite fuses grew more intense, sending a wave of heat and panic through Jake. We have to go faster. They're about to set it off, he urged, his voice barely above a whisper as they moved closer to the edge. Suddenly, a loud crack echoed beneath them as one of the robbers shouted a warning about the approaching train. The atmosphere thickened with urgency. Jake felt every second slip away like grains of sand. He glanced back at Mrs. Thompson, whose eyes were filled with fear yet trust. Just a little further, he encouraged. As they neared the end of the trestle, they heard the countdown from below. 3, 2. Realizing they were running out of time, Jake grabbed Mrs. Thompson's hand, pulling her with all his strength as they sprinted toward safety. Just as they reached solid ground, an explosion rocked the trestle behind them, sending debris flying into the air. They fell to the ground as dust and smoke rose around them, but safe on stable ground, Jake breathed a sigh of relief. They had escaped just in time, but the danger was not entirely over. The chaos was only beginning. In the aftermath of the explosion, the town rallied together to support Mrs. Thompson, who had been shaken but uninjured. Neighbors brought her food and comfort, offering companionship as she processed the day's harrowing events. The community organized a gathering in the town square, where they shared stories of bravery and resilience. Jake stood among them, his heart swelling with pride and humility as townsfolk praised his quick thinking and courage. You saved her life, Jake, a child exclaimed, eyes wide with admiration. Adults nodded in agreement, recounting how he had bravely confronted danger while showing immense care for Mrs. Thompson. As the sun set, painting the sky with shades of orange and purple, the mayor stepped forward to acknowledge Jake's heroism formally. Today, we honor not just bravery but the spirit of our community coming together, he declared. Cheers erupted from the crowd as Jake blushed under the spotlight. Amidst the festivities, Mrs. Thompson found Jake and offered him a heartfelt thank you. You gave me hope when I needed it most, she said softly, tears of gratitude shining in her eyes. Together, they watched as their small town united in strength and support, turning a day of chaos into one of healing and connection. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the town, The warmth of community spirit filled the air. People gathered around, sharing laughter and stories of bravery that reminded them of the strength found in unity. In moments of crisis, it was clear that heroes could emerge from unexpected places, like Jake, a humble rail scout whose quick thinking and kindness had saved Mrs. Thompson's life. Reflecting on the day's events, the townsfolk understood that it wasn't just Jake's actions that made him a hero. It was the collective spirit of their community that turned fear into courage. They had come together, supporting one another through uncertainty and danger, proving that when people unite for a common cause, they can face any challenge. Mrs. Thompson looked around at her neighbors, feeling a sense of belonging she had longed for since her husband's passing. "Thank you all," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "You showed me that I am never alone." With renewed hope and strength, the community embraced their shared resilience, ready to face whatever future challenges awaited them, together as one.